Hello, everybody. Welcome to the online Leading with Values seminars. This is going to be a little bit different than how we normally do them because we normally do them in chapter meeting, so bear with me a little bit. This seminar is going to be on difficult conversations since it's very relevant in our lives with dealing with family and friends and acquaintances, etc. But in any group, it's impractical to think that things won't always be happy and constructive and productive and well-meaning. Whether we work to avoid it or not, conflict is going to arise. However, there are ways that we can manage our stress and conflict in order to maintain a good sisterhood environment for which we all want. Managing conflict starts with good communication. When communication breakdown occurs, it can be hard to effectively navigate resolution of conflict. And a key component of communication is listening and knowing what type of listener you are. First, we're going to do a short individual quiz activity. It's called Listening Style Inventory. So pause this video and grab a pen and paper and you can just write down your answers. It's just going to be quick 10 questions. And then after you answer the questions, there's going to be a little answer key, and I'll have that on a slide. So just pause it, tally up your score, and answer the questions honestly. Okay, so hopefully that was a little bit insightful. So just take a second, pause, and then think about these questions. When you picture yourself in a confrontational situation, does the description accurately describe your style of communication? And what do you think the description of your listening style says about you? Okay, so now we're going to kind of move on to conflict management. And unfortunately, you can't always predict conflict. It's going to happen. It probably has already happened in your life, but the key is how you deal with it and how you can effectively manage it and grow individually and even in those relationships. So think about some examples that happen in our sorority with conflict or even with your family. And there are three choices on how to deal with conflict, and they are either to avoid it, or to deal with it and handle it poorly, or to deal with it and face it and handle it very well. So we're going to talk about how to deal with it and handle it well. If you avoid it, it can lead to blow-ups later, not good. If the issue is never addressed, it will likely never be resolved. So step one is to work on yourself first. You're the only person you can control, and no one else is responsible for the actions except for you. This is important to remember when focusing on self-reflection in preparation of having difficult conversations. Focus on what you really want. Honor, respect, integrity, sincere friendship should all play a role in your vision of how you want the outcome of the conversation to be. A good question to ask yourself is, if these are the outcomes I really want, how should I act so these outcomes are achieved? This probably doesn't include gossiping or sharing confidential information or holding grudges against sisters or anybody. Also, don't get off track. Remember, this isn't a competition, it's a conversation, and therefore there's no winner and there's no loser. Statements like, this is not the way that we do it, or, well, I speak from experience, often begin the conversation from a position of authority or expertise with little room for compromise. Be careful to not initiate the discussion to seek revenge. Be careful of statements such as, we did this, you should too, and it's a tradition. We've always done it this way, or this is because you. Try not to present statements that could sound threatening, like I don't want to hurt anyone and I hope this works out. Look for warning signs of conflict, like emotions or body language, if somebody's raising their voice or if they're crossing their arms or just the way that they're standing. Also, don't mask the issue, like saying, yeah, I guess that's okay. That masks how you feel, and that's not going to lead to resolution. Don't avoid and change the subject. Control yourself and don't try to control others. Labeling and attacking is also something to avoid when conflict because it moves the focus onto winning an argument rather than resolving it. Step 3 is to use the crib method. So C is to commit to seek a mutual purpose. Agree to disagree if you must, but commit to staying actively involved in the conversation until that happens. R is recognizing the purpose behind strategy. Why do we say the things we say? Sometimes it's fear, money, masking certain emotions. I, inventing a mutual purpose. What is our common ground and what are common paths that we are towards similar outcomes? B, brainstorm new strategies. Resolution doesn't have to be about either or, it can be about and. Is there a common ground that both parties can agree on? Step 4 is to not confuse stories with facts involved and try to avoid the following types of roles, being a victim, a villain, or helpless. Step 5 is another acronym. State your path. So S would be share your facts, T, tell your story, A, ask for other perspectives, T, talk tentatively by using in my opinion and avoiding you statements, E, encourage testing and allow others with opposite views to share their viewpoints with you and challenge you a little bit. Step 6, remember your ABCs. A, agree with the person if you agree with them and establish a common ground. B is to build on that common ground. And C is to compare notes and viewpoints. Disagreement does not always have to mean that someone is right and somebody is wrong. So then the last step is to move to action and finish the conversation clearly and professionally and determine what or if anything needs to change and what follow-up actions need to be taken. So that was a lot of information and acronyms thrown at you, but managing conflict appropriately and effectively takes time and effort. You don't need to remember every single step immediately. However, it is important to remember that conflict will happen and how you manage it can completely change the outcome. So thanks for watching.